everyone, and thank you for joining me today with Werner, of course. I'm very excited. We're going to get into their dedicated and private fleet services. In particular, we actually have a guru at Werner in regards to this area as well, Jim Wazak, the Senior Vice President of Dedicated Services over at Werner. Jim, thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to get into these services with you.
Great. Can't wait. This is an exciting opportunity to talk a little bit about who we are, what we're all about, what makes Werner Dedicated click. So I appreciate it and look forward to having a conversation.
Well, it's interesting as we, of course, over here at FreightWaves love to look at data. We're noticing more and more investment into dedicated services and private fleets as well. So I think this is a perfect timing to get into this. And that I'd love for you to tell us what exactly differentiates Werner's dedicated services compared to its competitors out there.
Boy, right out of the gate, I don't want to sound too cliche, but it really is the people, right? And so when you look at our team of talented associates we have here at Werner Enterprises, more globally, but certainly in our division we call dedicated, the people truly do make the difference. The people would be both inclusive of our folks in the office as well as our drivers. Certainly the drivers are the ones delivering the freight from A to B each and every day and have a tremendously challenging job. But I never want to discount the mechanics and certainly our office associates. They're helping, pull the levers to make sure that the drivers remain informed, make sure that all the customer information remains relevant and in the hands of the operators. So that's really what our number one differentiator. Number two is, we've been in this space for better than probably 30 years at this point. And while we're certainly far from perfect, we do really pride ourselves on high levels of execution. And high levels of execution really is defined as on-time service, which is really easily translatable to the customer. We talk about different areas such as our equipment. We talk about different areas such as, what our capabilities are in this space. Capabilities are anything from our ability to procure new equipment, truck, trailer, specialized types of trucks, specialized types of trailers. You have a problem, you want me to engineer a solution, we're here for you. And that's really what Werner Dedicated is all about. Our years of experience with some of the top clients throughout the country have enabled us to grow, learn, more importantly, learn from our clients each and every day. And it helps us drive a better product out for our clients every day.
Yeah, like you said, over 3 decades of experience, which is huge. And I'd love to learn, you touched on this a little bit, right? That you've seen this evolution of what the shipper really needs from a dedicated provider. Can you tell us from your experience what that evolution has looked like and how Werner has, of course, pivoted to make sure that they're there to meet all those customer needs?
Absolutely. There's an old saying out there that if you're not growing, you're dying. And so we're always positioning ourselves to move forward, and we cannot move forward as a carrier without our clients. And so as our clients' needs evolve, and it could be in any vertical, any space, any industry, as our clients look to enhance their supply chain, we have to be right there next to them, partnering with them to drive solutions into their supply chain. I touched on it a moment ago around different types of trailing equipment, perhaps different types of tractors, different types of drivers. As we talk about some of our multimodal solutions later, if our client has a need, we're here to provide a solution. We have a really talented team throughout our broader organization that, both from an IT standpoint, an operator standpoint, as well as a sales standpoint, who really dive in. They peel back the layers of the proverbial onion and really try to understand what is the solution that the client is looking for. When we initiate conversations with our clients, a lot of times there is a key issue at hand. And that issue could be a myriad of things, but for the sake of conversation, let's just say it's capacity. And so our clients will come to us with a capacity challenge, and we're here and we can do the easy thing and say, here's some trucks and here's some trailers and here's some drivers, and we can provide a solution for you. But the reality is there's usually another layer to capacity. Why is capacity a challenge? Is it delivery schedule? Is it optimizing their broader network? Is it looking at which distribution center perhaps hauls the freight from A to B? Maybe we should be looking at the other distribution center within network, right? And so we're able to go in and really get intrusive with their supply chain, and intrusive in a good way. We want to collaborate. We want to take a very partner-like approach with our clients to make sure that we're truly solving their problem. Solving the problem, though, is only the first step because, as we talked about a moment ago, business evolves. And so we solve the problem today, we may have an entirely new catalog of challenges tomorrow that we have to continue to be very innovative and create solutions for. So there's a myriad of different approaches to dedicated, from daytime drivers to nighttime drivers to over-the-road drivers to a regional approach. You name it, we really do have solutions throughout our organization. Our different modes of transportation can really, truly provide a solution for our clients.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I think as you're talking about this, it sounds like a lot of this is working with customer data as well, right? And being able to make these decisions and almost like the real time aspect, right, of making these decisions. And we all know here in this industry, especially we just saw a couple of hurricanes come through, right? Knowing what's happening next in a supply chain can greatly change what needs, right, are necessary for that shipper. And that brings me to also the multimodal aspect you talk on this too, because, in market swings, we're always looking at ways that we can save costs as well. And I think we've seen rail and intermodal and other modes as well out there, whether it's even partially, right, things of that nature have made costs come down or at least stay neutral, right, for shippers as well. Give them another experience to move their freight. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do to offer that multimodal aspect of dedicated services as well?
Absolutely. And I think it's a fantastic question to really highlight some of our different areas other than just dedicated, but they really do collaborate and really complement each other really nicely. So we have a state-of-the-art engineering and optimization team that are able to take customer bids, RFIs, RFPs, you name it, take their data set in-house, work with their different data, and develop a solution. What does that mean for multimodal solutions? So, in a perfect world, we'll get a bid and you'll create a dedicated solution and it's pretty black and white. It's 50 trucks and 50 trucks worth of freight. It's, Sunday to Saturday, and we engineer the number of drivers needed. But the reality is that may not be the most cost-effective solution for our client. So what we'll do is we'll look at their data and we'll say, we've got 30 assets worth of actual material dedicated business, but there's still 20 assets worth of work over here. Perhaps it's inconsistent. Perhaps that's seasonal. We're able to pull in both our intermodal group, our final mile group, our brokerage logistics group, our van transactional group, and we're able to put a collaborative experience together for that client that says, I'm going to provide you a dedicated solution. But within that dedicated solution, I'm also able to handle the excess freight capacity. Perhaps it's the peak demands or the surge demands of the business. And I'm going to do that using brokerage, logistics, final mile, intermodal, et cetera. And so when you think about an account management perspective, we're able to be a one-stop shop and really, truly provide a solution, both dedicated as well as our other modes, that really have a carefree experience for the client. They can focus on their core area of expertise, which is their supply chain. And on our side, we're the quote unquote trucking experts or the transportation logistics experts. And so we'll focus and we'll hone in on those areas that really make their life easier so that they can focus on what's important to them. We'll make sure the freight is where it needs to be safely and legally.
Well, that actually is a perfect transition to my next question, that the safety aspect, right? At the end of the day, this industry, you talked about it, right? People are needed, people are necessary, drivers included. And it is a dangerous industry, coming in and out of some of these locations, being on the road, driving hundreds of miles at a time. I'm interested from your perspective, how safety, maybe even technology, but overall driver management of those dedicated drivers, what that means to Werner's offering to its customers, and what standards you set within the safety aspect of the company as well.
Great question. Safety is the absolute forefront of every single decision we make as an organization. Certainly there's other layers to all the differences of discussions and decisions we try to make, but they all have a core foundation around safety. We hire the premier driver out there. We have a very mobilized, robust recruiting division that is able to take in a myriad of applications and really identify the type of driver that really fits within Werner's, atmosphere, our dynamics, our culture, and who we are. There isn't a decision that's made on any given day that does not have safety behind it. And so if we partner with a client, for a dedicated solution or another modal solution, within the enterprise, we do ask a lot of questions around the safety aspect to their business, both from how does the incumbent log their business, perhaps, right? What does the transactional environment look like? Meaning, is it just-in-time freight? Is it freight that has to deliver overnight? How do you handle Donner Pass? If we want to get out into the West Coast, or how do you handle New York City? How do you handle the Midwest? And what are all the different variables that we have to consider in those markets? You brought up a hurricane. During hurricane season, what do your freight needs look like? Do your patterns change? And how do we behave to make sure that we're getting your freight from A to B with as minimal disruptions as humanly possible, considering catastrophic act of gods like the hurricane we just had? But safety is everything. Without safety in the industry we're in, quite frankly, the trucking environment doesn't exist. There's too much regulatory changes on an ongoing basis, the legalities, and certainly, the different risk and liability nature of what we do. It's critical that we respect safety for everything that it is and make decisions based on a safe foundation. Our trucks and our drivers are our lifeblood of this organization, and certainly they're the lifeblood of many of our clients, because we, along with our peer group, are helping deliver freight to the end consumer to make sure it's on the shelf. But if we're unable to do so safely and legally, then the product doesn't get to the shelf. And so making sure that we do the right thing each and every day, both from a behavior in office, behavior from behind the wrench, from the mechanic standpoint, or certainly behind the wheel of our tractor trailers, safety is the core foundation of everything we do.
Well, to talk about foundation and offerings in particular as well, there's an offering they have that's called private fleet conversion. Could you explain exactly what that offering is and how you handle that conversion with customers as well, to make sure it's a smooth process and offering for them too?
Yeah, so private fleet conversions in its simplest context is, let me take the headache away from you, client A. And what we do is we identify a client perhaps that has interest in departing from their own private fleet today, or perhaps they've not even considered having that discussion with Werner Enterprises as of yet. What we do is we really just come to the table and we sit down and we talk about, what is Werner Enterprises' core competency? Our core competency is trucking, right? Yes, we're a broader organization with logistics arm, intermodal arm, et cetera, but as we talk about dedicated, trucking is the core of our foundation. So let us take the burden, perhaps, of your private fleet off of your shoulders, and let us, who's an expert in this space, allow you the time to focus your energy, perhaps on driving sales, perhaps on improving the size and scope of your widget that you're selling on a given day. Perhaps you need to spend more energy on how you import business, deconsolidation centers, perhaps. The point of that is really, let us do what our core competency is. Let's bring you on board. Let's talk about where your areas of risk are, and we'll provide a solution for you. I mentioned it in a previous response on a question around the risk and liability environment, around litigation and the different myriad of challenges that can face a carrier. As a individual with a private fleet, let's take that burden off your plate. We don't like litigation either, let's be honest, but it is a reality of operating within this space. We have a very talented team of individuals that understands this space. We base our hiring decisions around safety. We behave with everything we do internally from a safety mindset and so forth. So when you think about a private fleet conversion, we want to make your life easier as a client. To do that, hand us the freight. We'll bring state-of-the-art trucks, state-of-the-art trailers, state-of-the-art associates and technology to the table, and we'll alleviate, I don't want to call it a burden, but we'll alleviate that burden from you so you can focus on your core competency. And so that's really what we're talking about when we talk about private fleet conversions. And so once you come on board with Werner Enterprises, you may be within a dedicated environment. And I am going to do everything in my power, along with my team and this organization with the power of who we are. We're going to drive more efficiency into your supply chain, perhaps, than you've seen last year, maybe last month, or certainly last week.
Hey, I trust you on that one for sure. And Even more excited for, of course, the future ahead and what that looks like for Werner as well. Can you tell us what, if we're, to look down the road a year, 2 years from now, what exactly is the focus for Werner's dedicated and private fleet services, and what enhancements or innovations are you looking to add?
Sure. So there's a lot of layers to that question. So I'm going to start here with we're in the midst of a significant IT evolution here at the organization. As we have talked to many of our clients throughout time, we have identified a need to have a more robust platform that can handle a growing need for multimodal solutions. Our platforms today are 100% capable of operating any and all dedicated fleets we have, future onboarding, but the reality is it needs to be more robust, more dynamic, and more capable to change when our clients need change. And so our IT team has done a phenomenal job of introducing a new TMS system at Werner. We have several of our areas that have already fully integrated, and others continue to integrate as the system is built out. So the technology component is critical to who we are as an organization. So as we think about dedicated, what's the future for dedicated look like? Certainly we've got aspirations to grow. We believe that we are at a size and scale today that has far more capability to offer to our clients, to give them more solutions, more robust solutions, and certainly grow alongside of them. But our clients are great. We've got some of the best clients in the industry, but the reality is there's a myriad of other clients out there that we've not perhaps engaged with as it relates to a dedicated or even a private fleet conversion. We want the opportunity to show you who we are. We're based here in Omaha, Nebraska, but we have offices and terminals throughout the entire United States, Mexico, and Canada. We believe highly in who we are. Our foundation is a conservative organization. And we really do believe that, growth will come through ongoing partnerships with both existing and new clients. And if you've not taken the opportunity to sit down with Werner Enterprises and one of, our leaders in the operations group, perhaps it's a leader in our sales team or otherwise, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to sit down and engage with you on what challenges are you faced with. Perhaps it's not a challenge today, but you foresee a challenge 2 to 3 years from now. Perhaps it's next year. We're able to sit down and help look into the future, help develop a solution. One of the comments, Grace, as we were talking was around, perhaps a case study, right? And, what's a case study of a conversion that you'd like to expand upon? And the reality is, we've got myriad of stories, right? We can talk all day around conversions. But we just finished up one with a client who doesn't even operationalize his fleet until 2026, right? And we started this discussion in late 23 and early 24, as we're building out this solution for this client. And then ultimately we're going to engage on a startup in 2026. And so as I talk about forward looking, while the opportunity may not exist today, it's not too early to start having those discussions, because the regulatory environment changes rapidly. And before you have to make a significant capital investment in new trucks and trailers to stay up with the regulation, let Werner Enterprises do that for you, because we have an entire team from a equipment procurement standpoint that stays up on regulatory compliance. They make sure that we are operating obviously safely and legally today, but we're ready for 2027 mandates and 2030 mandates, 2035 mandates. And there's 100 more that I didn't mention in between that small time frame, but we have a team that's ready. We have a team that's robust. It's built through history, and we have a lot of tremendous professionals within this organization that are willing to help you. But the reality of it all is we're just people, and we just want to have a conversation with you and talk about what makes us tick, talk about what makes you tick. And we do believe confidently, we can create a solution that works for you and your supply chain.
Yeah, I want to, again, thank you for joining us today and giving our audience an idea of exactly what Werner's working on. And of course, for everyone out there, you can head to Werner's site. We'll leave some links as well in this video so that you can reach out to them too to learn more about their dedicated services. But Jim, thank you so much, and keep up the good work. Excited to see all of that come to fruition.
Thanks, Grace. I really genuinely appreciate the time today. It's been wonderful. And again, if you need Werner Enterprises, we're here for you. Thank you.